We are enjoying the moment on this week's episode of Implicit Bias. That means we are not living in the past. Well, you never know, maybe a bit, but it definitely means we're not worrying about the future. I'm your host, Kavan Bordelon, and we are a couple of sips of weekly whiskey away from being neck deep in this week's episode. Now, when we say we're living in the moment, many might think, well, duh. I mean, if there's one thing that this crew is good at, it's having a good time, partaking of some of the libations which tend to bring about the spirit, and pontificating on world events, laughing, voicing opinions, and engaging in the general art of BS, and of course, solving the problems of the world while we do it. If this is what living in the moment is about, then we'll allow it. Unfortunately for us, to be honest, we're not always like this. Reality is, well, it's just reality. We've all got mortgages, credit card bills, electric bills, grocery bills, spouses, children, responsibilities, worries, some sort of health problem in some way, shape, or form. We're all old. In other words, we're normal, everyday human beings, just like everybody else. In other words, we spend too much of our time not focusing on what's right in front of us. Instead, a lot of times we're focusing on what is to come. I mean, we've all got worries, but it's not even the worries that we're talking about. It's the present that we're missing. There's that saying that, youth is wasted on the young. Why though? Because when we're young, we just want to be grown up, meaning that we miss or just simply don't understand how valuable, how enjoyable the moment of our youth can be. We simply don't want what we have. We want what we don't have. We're worried about the things that are yet to come, or at least we hope are to come. Now, we've been warned about doing this. Again, the Bible is timeless. When we read James chapter 4, verse 14, it states, "Whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away." I know, it's a bit somber, but the reality of it is that it's true. Any of us can go to sleep tonight and not wake up. I mean, it's possible that we could end up in a horrible weed eater mishap in the next 20 minutes, or we could somehow end up as a Darwin Award winner. Those people who've passed in some of the most miraculously stupid ways. Like too much tannerite, a rocket-assisted takeoff pack attached to your car, trying to hand feed a bear. It can happen, and unfortunately it does. The point is, the only moments that we're actually guaranteed in life is the one we're in right now. And as Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and take a look around once in a while, you could miss it. And too often, we do. We miss life all the time. And we do it because we're so concerned with the next big thing, the next bad thing, the next thing, period. What that means is that if we're focused on the next thing, we're missing what's right in front of our faces. All too often, we're missing the most important things in our lives. We're with family, we're with friends, we're with those that we say we actually care about. And while we're physically there, our mind isn't. That's a problem. Our minds are so often distracted by the clutter the world throws our way, we're completely oblivious to the beauty that's right there in front of us. Whether it's just a beautiful morning when you're sitting in the woods, or a hot cup of coffee on the patio, being with your entire family for the first time in a week or a month or a year. Life shouldn't be about what we stress for. It should be about what we stress with, right? In the moment. And that stress becomes beautiful. Unfortunately, the Matrix is designed to keep us from spotting the miracles right in front of us. And that is the paradox of our lives. In order to provide for our families, we're told we have to spend all our time away from our families. In order to engage in the activities that make us happy, we're told we have to sacrifice the majority of our time, many times to benefit somebody else. This is why this moment, whatever moment you're in, is the most important one. If we're with the person who makes us happy, be happy with them. If we're in our happy place, enjoy it as much as Happy Gilmore did. Well, at least the first Happy Gilmore. The sequel, not anyway. The point is the same, and it's this. While we have to be responsible about the future, we can't do that at the expense of the moment. So grab your crew, we've got ours, pour a glass, and enjoy the moment, or at least the next 2 hours of the moment that will be all about your implicit bias. Cheers. We're not going to solve problems in this segment of Implicit Bias Radio unless your problem is you don't have a weekly whiskey. If that's the case, we've got it for you. Remember, find all of your fine spirits at the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective, whether it's Opelousas, Karen Crow, Lafayette, Scott, Milton, Maurice. You heard the names of the places to go, and we've got a special one for you on this week's episode that we are tasting from Champagne's Market in Karen Crow. So let me introduce you to the crew who's here in the Mr. Lester's TSPL to start. He is the Rustic Renegade, and apparently he suffered a TBI this afternoon.
Look, what's one more on the yeah.
Yeah, see, there's no
table of
difference.
contents that I already have.
There's no difference. That's my point. It's good to have you here, though, Caleb. I'm glad at least the long-term memory of where the TSPL is located didn't get vacated.
Yeah, we're not losing that one. That one's stuck in the memory forever.
Outstanding. All right, at the bar. It's football season, so we're going 3 wide at the bar like trips, wide receivers. Trammell's not a wide receiver. Anyway, what was that? That was not a football pose.
Heisman, baby.
He's not a wide receiver, but I hear he does receive.
You're in concussion protocol.
All right, you got to pull the mic too. You know this, Trammell. Pull the mic. It's fine.
It's a little crowded over here.
That's all
there's
right.
not a lot of room to maneuver.
Oh, don't lie to me and tell me you've never been at a crowded bar before.
When I was younger, it's been a while.
Well, you're at a crowded bar here in the TSPL because we've got special people and special whiskey.
Yeah, but I don't know Brandon very well, and he's, like we like to be handsy back here, and I don't know how comfortable he is right now. He's
We about to get to know each other real good.
Oh.
Yeah. That is Mike. We call him the Drip Trammell. I think we just need to nickname him Donkey Whiskey. Because that's the one thing that has been consistent with Mike. He's always giving you the donkey whiskey.
I tell you the truth. I don't get up here like Caleb Morris and give you this long story of, that morning we woke up and Passepartout was on and Dick Farrow was telling us the weather and, and then I drank and it tasted like, like this and that and this long story. I give you the clip notes to the point and the truth.
That's a valid point. I'll give you that.
You're still full of it, Mike, and I know it.
Maybe he should just be the donkey.
Pretty much. He could be Mike the Donkey. Yes, that might be good. Might be good. Like from Shrek. Anyway, let's go to the other side of the bar. We've got K&B, my buddy from New Orleans, Grant Galatas, and actually, he's not from New Orleans. That's why his nickname is K&B, because he's from Kennebra.
This is correct.
I visited Kenner not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. It really hasn't changed except for the fact that K&B is not there, and now apparently there's nothing there because the casino's not there anymore.
I miss K&B, man. It was like the Walmart, the mini Walmart before all the little drugstores turned into giant, warehouses.
See, I always thought K&B was just like, I remember it as a drugstore. I remember Barker's.
Convenience store. Oh, yeah, Barker's.
I remember Barker's trying to be what is now Walmart.
Right.
And they failed miserably because they would always run ads and never have what they said they had.
Right.
I remember that.
But thank you for mentioning that football season has started because I just couldn't wait to use this platform to say I enjoyed watching Alabama fans squirm and cry and shoot the middle finger at the cameraman. Did you see this?
I did.
No,
I did.
Barker. Did you see that?
I also saw the LSU fan get choked out because he tried to do that to a Clemson fan.
Oh, whoops.
That was funny.
So you know what they call that, Walker? They call that battery. That's what they call that. I mean, literally, I get that he was probably asking for it.
Oh, he deserved every single bit of it.
It's still battery. You shouldn't be putting your hands on somebody because they made a finger gesture towards you. I mean,
He got in the dude's face.
Did he choke him with one hand or two?
Oh, he was one.
It was one.
He had him up against a wall.
So the rule of thumb is one hand kinky, two hand attempted murder.
Ring the bell. That was pretty funny. All right, our third guest at the bar. He's going to be running routes out of the slot. He's Brandon Oye of Champagne's in Karen Crow. Brandon, it's a pleasure to have you back with us.
It's nice to be back.
Okay, so I got to ask while we got you on, because everybody's out there listening. We had you on right at a month ago. You came on with that good old times that got rated so highly as it did. You had a lot of people from Implicit Bias Radio, a lot of listeners come in, didn't you?
Correct.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about that. That's not a yes or no answer necessarily.
Yeah, I had a few people reach out through the Facebook page asking if we still had it. You know, at the time we had a couple cases left over. We didn't have very much left. And I think as of today, we probably have a case, maybe less.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Love to hear that. So we love bringing special whiskeys, especially with the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective, to you, our listeners. And that means that we get to bring picks. And this is another pick available only at Champagne's Market in Carencro. So, Brandon, if you would, tell us about this Balcones Texas Rye. So I think it's Balcones, but it is a 100% rye on the mash bill.
Yes, 100% rye.
And I'm going to let Grant lean into the mic and tell us what the proof on this one is, because I'm not sure if Grant even knows the exact proof, but it's going to be close enough.
I think you said 136.5 or 136.
It is 135.8.
And being 100% rye, I mean, you can feel it. It feels like 136.
It's got that little bit of aggression. But Brandon, what made you pick this particular bottle and this particular barrel from Balcones?
So I actually picked one of these up in Texas on vacation, just on a whim. I never saw a single barrel from Balcones, so I was like, well, let's try it out. And I mean, the moment I cracked the bottle open, it was completely different from any rye that I've ever tasted. And I knew I had to get one of these at the store.
I actually don't disagree with you. We love rye on Implicit Bias Radio. We are big rye drinkers. And for a lot of us, our sweet spot is about a 6-year rye at about 115 to 120-ish proof. This one shoots well beyond that 120, 126 proof. I mean, when you start getting into the mid 130s, you know right away, this might take some drinking level expert, right? But what I'm going to say is, on my first couple of sips, I don't think that's the case. This does not come off to me as jet fuel. Now, to Grant's point, it does have the pepper. You do get that little bit of aggression. But if I were to sip this without knowing, I would have said this is probably 116 to 120. So how's the response been from people that you know that have tasted this already?
They've been blown away. I mean, this is one of those bottles you got to get liquid to lips for people to understand. There's such a big stigma out there, especially in Lafayette, about Texas whiskey. People won't even give it a chance for the most part.
I'm not going to lie. That was me. I would see a Texas whiskey and be like, the smoke they try to put into it. This is not done that way. Caleb, go ahead. I see
You got to be truthful about it too. Like anytime we see Texas whiskey, it's like I have stupid Hey Dudes with a Texas logo on them, right? And it's because they don't make them with the Louisiana logo. I'm like, well, I can get these at discount because it's Texas and I'm in Louisiana. We see Texas tags on a truck and everything else. And the truth of the matter is, look, as a Louisianian, I'm kind of jealous of Texas pride. I wish we had Louisiana pride. So I try not to partake in Texas things, and I regret that when it comes to this.
When you brought this bottle in and I saw Texas rye, I'm not going to lie, Brandon, a part of me went, oh no. I have not had good palate experiences with Texas whiskey. I want to go to the bar and hear what the crew at the bar thinks of this one, because it is highly unique. The proof is up there. And oh yeah, Grant, I love the way Grant does that. Grant goes to reach for the microphone. Trammell goes to push it towards him, and Grant just goes whoop and pushes it right to Mike. So Trammell, donkey whiskey or not?
So it's not up my alley, that's for sure.
The proof is too high for you, isn't it?
It's not so much the proof, it's it has a very like a dark chocolate taste to it, like a feel to it.
It is an uncanny dark chocolate.
And I despise dark chocolate. I will not. So when you used to get the little candies that would have the crackle and the Mr. Good Bar,
Yep.
you'd always have that dark chocolate in
Yep.
there. I think it was Score. I think it was the little.
No, Score
the
is
little
the toffee.
miniatures.
Score's the toffee.
Yeah,
It wasn't the Mr. Good Bar, the yellow wrapper?
No, that's
Yeah, Mr. Good
peanuts.
Bar is yellow.
That's peanuts.
No, Mr. Good Bar was yellow.
Yeah, but it's yellow. It's a yellow wrapper,
Yeah.
but it's chocolate and peanuts is Mr. Good Bar.
But there was always a dark chocolate.
Is it the blue one?
No.
Was it a Hershey's?
Okay, so
it may have been a Hershey's.
oh dear God, you're getting Nestle confused with Hershey's because Nestle is a Crunch Bar. That's
Yeah,
the blue.
yeah, okay.
The
Yeah,
red,
Crunch.
the red is the Crackle, which is
Crackle.
Hershey's version
Yeah.
of a Crunch Bar.
That you could never find at the store.
Correct. Why? Because the Crunch Bar had edged them out on all their shelf space. Whole different story.
Power.
And then you had a Hershey's Dark, which was the Hershey's dark chocolate.
That's what it was. It was the Hershey's.
Boy,
dark.
that's what I just said, and y'all were like, "Oh, you're so dumb over there."
No, I was sitting there trying to remember it. Like those, everyone else ate. I didn't eat them.
Well, I didn't eat the Hershey dark chocolate. I despised it. I'm
Okay.
just not a dark chocolate person.
Not a dark chocolate guy.
And I'm not a coffee person either. And I get a really strong coffee aftertaste on this one.
Very interesting.
And when I do the little nose hump on it, I'm getting like an espresso kind of smell.
As opposed to an espresso kind of smell?
Yeah,
Because there's no X in it?
Yeah, I don't drink the little fancy little
do you want it- do you want
coffee
it-
shops like y'all.
Do you want it with the lemon twist?
I know. Hey, yo, put my name Kavan on my little cup, my little
Nope.
Starbucks cup.
Nope, no Starbucks here. Yeah. Anyway, so, okay. Not necessarily up your
I
palate.
should say
Alec.
little man, maybe.
Not up the avenue of the palate of things you like the taste of. But as far as drinkability, right? You have always been the one who's famous for saying, oh my God, that's jet fuel. Does this come off as jet fuel to you?
Not necessarily, but it's harsh.
It's got an edge on
it's
it
harsh.
because it's a rye.
And as Grant was saying, it is peppery. Like
Yeah.
you do get a lot of pepper up front. It's harsh. I could drink it maybe if Grant invited me to his house and like,
And you're trying to be
And
polite.
see what
Yeah.
Trammell does. Trammell's always edging for some sort of
I'm just telling the
freebie
truth.
or which we know. All right, so let's go to Grant because Grant has kind of been turned on to rise and turned on to higher proof stuff. He graduated from the Mike Trammell, Mikey doesn't like it, to okay, I'm an actual whiskey drinker.
So just to be clear, excuse me, Mike's assessment was hee-haw. I can summarize his assessment in 2 words.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm glad to be sitting next to Mike again.
We're glad to have him.
His breakdown's always fun. But yeah, I agree. I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't mind dark chocolate, but it really is strong in both respects. And I swear it's one of those things where it's 136. The chocolate will take you away from the fact that it's such a strong proof. So I'm not offended by that at all. It's not bad. I don't think it hits like 136, like you said. It's interesting little flavor combination.
So I'm going to hit you with the chocolate flavor that this actually is in a minute. I'm going to let Caleb go, and then I am going to go Caleb-esque on the palate on this one because this one, for me, goes to a really special place, and only certain people will get this. Our New Orleans market will really understand this for those listening in the NOLA area. Caleb, I want to go to you, hear what you think about this, and then I'll go.
So on the nose, I get like a strawberry Kit Kat on the nose, hint of berry, and like you.
Who eats those things?
I think I've eaten one maybe, but I remember opening up one and I was like, that smells different. It wasn't what I expected. So, but then once that smell's gone, you get the coffee, you get the chocolate, you get cordial cherries. 100% cordial cherries. That's what I get on the nose. Then on the palate, Rev Coffee Stout. It's a coffee dark beer. So it's a stout heavy. I think it's like an 8.5% alcohol. I get Rev Coffee Stout immediately on the palate. Then a deep dark chocolate, followed by like an extra sweet coffee. And in the end palate, anytime you drive to Texas, you got to stop at Buc-ee's.
Uh-oh.
And
Here we go.
Brisket sandwich.
no.
Not a
Yes,
brisket
I like
sandwich.
that. But when I go through, I'm driving, I'm normally going hunting or somewhere else, right? So I want extra caffeine. So I buy their chocolate-covered espresso beans.
Okay.
And every once in a while, in that bag, you get a bean that was over-roasted. When I say over-roasted, like a typical...
You mean burnt?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a typical espresso bean should be blonde in color, not a lot of coffee flavor, get the crunch, and then the chocolate surrounding it melted away. But you get one that's over-roasted. And when you bite into it, you're like, ooh. And I like black coffee, and it's really coffee, really heavy coffee. And then you get that dark chocolate around it that brings you back. You're like, I'm not sure if I like this. Oh, yeah, I do. That's what I get. I get an over-roasted espresso bean dipped in dark chocolate that's just a pleasant surprise. Could I drink this all night? No. Can I drink this right now? Hell yeah.
So number one, I'm going to call you a liar
Oh,
because you're going to sit here and drink this all night while we record,
probably.
which means you can't. So for me, and Grant, I want you to have the microphone for this conversation. For those who grew up in the Metairie, Kenna area, there was a really special place. It was next to a donut shop on West Esplanade. They were only open seasonally. Casey's Snowballs. So when I get the nose off of this, yes, now that you say cherry cordial, I can kind of get that hint. I couldn't really place the nose. Grant, what was Casey's Snowball's claim to fame? Do you remember?
I do not. I have no clue. I was on the other end of town, so I was Sunny Snowballs.
So Casey's had been offered, the rumor was in the 1980s, over $100,000 for the recipe for one of their snowball flavors. Now, if you're listening up north, it's not a snow cone, it's a snowball.
Big difference.
Huge
Big
difference. The ice down here is it's fluff.
It's not a flake. It's
No.
like a powder. Oh.
Yes, it's like a powder ice in a cup with syrup.
And it's SNEAUX, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. Casey's was offered allegedly over $100,000 in the 80s for their recipe for their chocolate snowball. It was almost a little bit chalky with a real heavy chocolate finish sweet on the end. And when I tell you, oh, we're going over, Walker. When I tell you it was, and to this day still is, my favorite snowball on the planet. You've got places that try to do it and have tried to come close. Nobody gets that flavor. When I took that first sip of this, Brandon, you told us that this was going to be chocolatey. And I was like, oh, we've had chocolatey before. This is chocolatey. Like when you drink this, you're like, wait, this is whiskey, but it almost tastes like they dissolved almost a chocolate powder because it gives you almost a flat finish to it. Like it's almost a little bit, I don't want to say chalky on the flavor. It's not a texture thing. It's just that flavor, like chocolate flat on the palate that sits. You do get the coffee, but oh my goodness, when I tell you, you want something different, you want something off the charts, this for me is that. I've never had anything like this. I've never had a whiskey or a rye that finished this way, that works this way. And when I say this to me is fantastic, I'm going to give it a blue on the Morse Whiskey rating code. And I'm going to go, because this is so unique, I've got to say this is $125 a bottle. Now, we're going to go around the room before we do this because Brandon knows the price. The Morse Whiskey rating code for those who are new to the show. Red, I wouldn't drink it even if it was free. Yellow, I'd only drink it if it was free. Green, I would buy it. Blue, I seek this out. To me, this is a blue. Caleb?
So, I know who I need to drink this with, by the way. My wife's uncle, Glenn LaFleur, who they retired his number from USL back when USL was a school, before it was UL, so the stuff. He was like Football Hall of Fame, that kind of thing. Well, he always corrects me on how I drink my whiskey because he's like, look, this bottle that's plastic is the same stuff by this company. And no matter what I tell him, he doesn't understand it. So I need to drink this with Glenn. This for Glenn would be a blue. For me, this is a green. Like
Okay.
I enjoy this. Would I buy a bottle? Yeah. Would I buy two? Because I don't think I could drink two at one time. So this is a solid green for me. Solid green.
Okay. Solid green. And what price?
And $85.
85. So $129.85. Grant.
Just for the record, I always get, and still to this day, the chocolate snowball with condensed
You
milk.
do it with condensed
covered.
milk. Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
am I right on the flavor?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm just wondering if Sonny's being just a couple of miles down West Esplanade from the other shop, if it was
I
a
don't
little bit
know.
of sharing going on. I'm going to give it a green.
Okay.
I really will. This is it's strong enough proof for I'll probably sit and drink it if I know my wife's coming home and I've done something that's going to get me in a lot of trouble.
So every day.
Did I need? Yeah, exactly.
So it's a
Did I need
daily
that?
drinker.
But Caleb was right in my price range. At something. So I'll go 95.
95. All right. Mikey doesn't like anything. So, Mikey, what do you got?
Well, we didn't have snowballs back where I grew up. We were very country. We basically just played with our own balls. That was about we didn't have stores like you guys. Like, oh, I live in these Kenna and
You mean like footballs and baseballs, correct, Mike?
for
Yeah,
the show, yes.
yeah.
yes. So it's just like I said earlier. It's just not my cup of coffee.
Okay.
That you can say. I've never been a coffee drinker. Never liked the little Hershey's dark chocolate. I get more of a dark chocolate. I
Okay.
like chocolate, but to me, it has more of a dark chocolate taste.
So you only like milk chocolate.
Well, I mean, I like Hershey. I like regular Hershey's.
That would be milk chocolate.
You know, Reese's.
For the uneducated.
I'm
Yeah.
just not a dark chocolate.
Okay, so where do you rate it? What would you pay?
You're rushing me, huh?
Yeah, because we're behind on time. So,
Excuse me, because y'all are talking about snowballs.
well, no, you saw the 1 minute finger. So you get
no,
it.
I mean, Caleb gives that long story, and it's basically what I said, except the strawberry Kit Kat. It's a yellow for me.
Okay.
It's not something I really would partake in, I guess
Okay,
you'd say.
but you would drink it if it was free, which that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly.
So what would you pay?
I'm going to go 75 on this.
75, 95 grand or 90? 95, 85, 129. Mr. Oye, what are we looking at here?
We're sitting pretty at 65.99.
Woo! 65.99, which means the What Would You Pay championship belt
Yes.
chain goes to Mr. What Would You Pay? Mikey doesn't like anything over in the corner. We are behind on time. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to sit on this balconies. We're going to solve some problems of the world and continue with your implicit bias. Continuing to live in the moment on this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio, I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. We are in the Mr. Lester's TSPL, the top secret podcast lair. And just a reminder, actually, I'm going to give you a reminder, and I'm going to give you something to put on your calendar. The reminder is this. Actually, I'm going to let Caleb give it to you. Caleb, what's the reminder? What's the special this month?
Oh, dollar pours, Bob.
Yep. Go into Mr. Lester's, Louisiana's only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston. Tell them you want an implicit bias pour, and your first pour of whiskey is $1.
No matter what it is,
It's $1.
it's ludicrous.
Approaching plaid. The second part of this, which is what you need to put on your calendar. Next week, September 10th, 6 p.m., the crew is back at Mr. Lester's. We will be on X, we will be on YouTube, we will be on Facebook. We are efforting whether or not we will be on Instagram, because Instagram likes to create problems that way. But those 3 platforms, we will definitely be live, which means we want you to drink whiskey with us while we produce the show. We will be in the cigar lounge at Mr. Lester Steakhouse, having a ton of fun, some fantastic food. You can tune in with us, and who knows? You never know what Mr. Lester wants to give away on one of these shows. We'll see how that's going to work and what happens live at Mr. Lester's September 10th. You can tune in, watch the crew, Facebook, X, YouTube, find us, watch, participate, interact with the crew, and we'll see you there. All right. So solving the problems of the world and living in the moment. We are actually in a really unique moment, and I'm gonna backtrack to some of the things that are happening. As far back as I can remember, and I am not the oldest here in the TSPL this week, but it's not off by much. We're just a couple of years different. Me and Grant are apparently... Trammell, how old are you?
Trammel's young, yeah.
Oh, you just look 137 years old. Okay. You walked right into that one, Trammell. You walked right into it. Okay.
How let me ask you this. How did you get 2 bombshells like this on the same set? Like, we're taking all the attention from that
Free
side of the
free
room.
whiskey, that's how.
Look at right here.
We let the warheads explode and we brought in the remnants. Anyway.
No respect.
Okay. So as far back as I can remember, childhood vaccines were just a thing. The Center for Disease Control was respected and had all of this clout and basically got to determine whatever it was, however we handled anything with regards to medicine, disease, sickness in the country. The moment we are in right now, we are seeing, and again, please don't believe us on this, we are seeing major pharmaceutical companies who are now lobbying and trying to basically put funds behind getting the Secretary of Health out of office. Why? Because he apparently is running roughshod over all of the establishment in that department. I'm going to start right there. This is a thing now. This is a big thing that people really aren't talking about and maybe should be, because it goes back against a lot of the, I'm not going to say progress, but the progressivism in the CDC and when it comes to medicine protocols. We're not doctors, by the way. We're just observing this, and that's what this is about. Caleb, you wanted to lean in there.
Well, I mean, look, I think that vaccines and everything else should be the individual's choice no matter what.
Agreed.
Right? Regardless of how you felt about COVID and all that, the first and foremost reason why I didn't get the vaccine was the first time I could look at the government and tell you, no. They gave me every shot under the sun, whether I wanted it or not. And when you have children and all the vaccines you have to give them, and they're like, well, these are recommended, these are the ones these are required, and this is what we think. And you don't have a chance to think about it and make a decision for yourself. I think that no matter how we do it, no matter how it's set up, it should be a voluntary basis. And we should reap what we sow, right? If our children do get sicker because they're not taking vaccines, great. If they're healthier because they don't have vaccines, great. It should be your choice as a parent.
Well, remember that whole my body, my choice thing?
Well, it doesn't apply whenever the government's involved.
Grant?
Dr. Mary's Monkey.
Yes.
First book that I read that I learned about Alton Ochsner out of New
Fantastic
Orleans.
book. Yes.
And this was one of the first times that they tried to rush a vaccine through without any sort of approval, without any longevity testing. And Alton Ochsner actually lost a grandchild and crippled a grandchild because he said the vaccine was.
Do you know what vaccine? Remember what
polio.
vaccine that was?
It was
Yes, it
polio,
was the
I believe.
polio vaccine.
So, first and foremost, this was not even a tough situation for me because take this vaccine. They had to rush it out so quick. There was no longevity testing. There was nothing that told you that this was safe. There's 5-10 years from now, there's still going to be stuff that comes to the surface about this. So the whole situation was frightening. It was never an option for me. And the fact that people were losing their livelihood, losing their jobs, kicked out of the military, kicked out of everything because you refuse to get this vaccine is just, I mean, that's North Korea, China type stuff. To
So
me.
here's the fun part for me is, Mike, are you reading the story? You have any thoughts before? Because
I was just reading how many vaccines that kids get nowadays.
What is it like? Probably as a newborn, they get some, or when they get their first shots.
it's a
like
lot
18?
more. It's a lot more than we got when we were kids.
It's showing 8, but there's a few
8
different
or
sources.
18?
18.
Yeah, I was thinking 18.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we look at some of this stuff. If you go to get them as an adult, when I was a civilian and wanted to go back overseas, I had to get a number of shots, and there was about 20. And I went to a place here in Lafayette, and I was like, I need these vaccines, and I need them as soon as possible so I can go overseas and do what I need to do and make some money. And they said, oh, yeah, we can do this over the course of 3 or 4 months. I'm like, Uncle Sam does this to people every day. I'll take them all right now. And I sat down, filled out all their waivers, said, look, if I have a heart attack and die, I have a heart attack and die. It's my choice. Took all my shots and
You got to accept responsibility for
Yep.
that, right? Now, here's actually where I want to take this story, though. Where I want to take this story is this. It's not necessarily about an individual vaccine. It is not about what the protocols are. It's that when we were kids, and maybe even as we got into high school, as we got into college, 1980s, 1990s, yes, we're old, that's fine. The reality is, if the CDC said it, it was such a respected
we
organization.
believe them.
Everyone believed it. And then, as we start to now get some pushback, you start getting people resign. I would love our listeners to go look up this person.
But you look at him, look at his behavior outside of office.
It is out. Well, I mean, okay, here's the deal. We are who we are. We live in the moment. We can only separate ourselves from being who we are so much. I would like you to look up Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis. And I know that sounds like I'm mispronouncing the last name. That is exactly how it's spelled. Is it Greek? I don't know. Apparently, anyway, he's a really,
Interesting.
I don't even want to say interesting because interesting means that it's something I would want to see more of.
Valid.
When you look this guy up, and he's on X, he goes by Dr. Dimitri, Demetre, blue check mark. This is a guy who was a major player at the CDC, and he's resigned. But when you really start looking into who was running the CDC,
Do you think all the leather he wore were for vaccinated cows?
I don't even want to think about that. Grant,
No, where you were going is it was definitely a collaboration. It was a collaboration between our government, social media platforms, Department of Education with Weingartner was her name.
Yep.
To do all the school shutdowns. It was frightening. It was a collaboration, but I don't know if you read it because his resignation letter was 12 paragraphs.
Yep.
And it read like a dissertation. It really did. But it's typical from that side of the aisle. What he said in that and all little wang that he did for 12 paragraphs was, if we're not going to do it our way, then I'm out of here. So he claims to be in it for the people, for the health of the American people. But if he's not getting his way, and during COVID, it's so funny because what happened was I showed you the lawsuit that was brought about the freedom of speech.
Yes.
Suppression that was brought against Biden and a whole bunch of people from the CDC. Someone who I have a personal connection to was listed actually. But they pretty much just shut up everyone from the conservative side of the aisle. Harvard doctors.
Well, they shut down free
Yale,
speech.
Cornell doctors.
On purpose.
Yeah, basically. So basically, if you're not in with our ideology, if our opinion, our point of view, then you're incorrect, and we will silence you.
They hit the mute button on anyone that disagreed with them. That's what they
It
do.
was crazy. So they say under the guise of We're in it for the health of the American people. We're going with the science. But the science did not jibe with their ideology.
And this is why I
And they
say,
were wrong about everything.
and this is why I say you can only separate yourself from who you are so much. The only reason he claims he's right is because he wouldn't give the other side the opportunity to tell their part of the story. Ideologues are never good, especially when they are given too much power. Much like Walker, who was given too much power and just gave me the finger. That would be the 1 minute finger in the TSPL. We'll come back. Final segment of hour one right after this on Implicit Bias Radio. There's a theory in the world that says movies have to show it to you first before they actually do it. And this one, I think, Caleb, not those kind of movies. This one,
Well.
I think, came straight out of a movie from 2008, 2009, all the way up basically through 2019, 2020. So let me introduce you to the crew who's at the bar here in the Mr. Lester's TSPL on Implicit Bias Radio. Grant Galatas of William S. Nacall Jewelers, otherwise known as K&B. Mike Donkey Whiskey Trammell, who has won the What Would You Pay Championship belt chain. It's good to have you back, Mike.
Nothing but the truth over here.
You heard the voice of Caleb Morrison. Of course, every now and then Walker will chime in when he's not betting on some football game or basketball game or something on his phone while he's supposed to be producing the show. All right.
I can multitask.
I've heard some of your edits. I'm just saying. All right, here we go. The Consumer Electronics Show. Going on basically right before we recorded this episode. CES is always in Las Vegas. They roll out some of the really cool electronic gadgets that are going to come out in the next year, couple of years, few years. Well, we've seen things in science fiction that later have come to pass. I mean, basically, in Star Trek, you know, Captain Kirk had the little flip phone where he could call people, and well, lo and behold, you know, a few years later, 20 years later, we've got flip phones and we've got cell phones and we've got all this stuff. I mean, we see these things. They are attempting to roll out the Mudra band. I don't know
I
exactly
read
how
it
to pronounce
murder at first.
Yeah, shocker. But it is a neural wristband that turns your hand into a mouse or keyboard by Muduralink or Mudralink. How you pronounce it doesn't matter. Anybody know what movie this was in not 10, 12, 15 years ago?
Was it in The Fifth Element?
Nope.
Multipass.
Major League.
Major League.
No, yeah, because they picked their hand up, they zoomed in, they did all this stuff. Was that a Tom Cruise movie?
That was not a Tom Cruise movie.
Was it Iron Man?
It was Iron Man. That's what it was.
I was thinking before that.
It was Iron Man when he would put the band on,
And just that was fantastic.
and everything he did was done with his hands. Are we now living in the age where science fiction and movies is no longer 20 or 30 years ahead of where we are? It's more like 2 to 3 to 5, or it's actually in prototype and they're just waiting to roll it out?
Or what if the same people they're hiring for some of these movies are also working for other government agencies and other firms to try to design this stuff?
Oh, wait. Caleb, are you trying to tell me that intelligence agencies inside the United States are tied to Hollywood, the music industry, the entertainment industry?
I mean, in less words.
This just to me seems nuts. So number one, we continue to strap new frequencies to our physical person every single day. I mean, we're sitting here in the TSPL. We've all got headphones on. That operates at a frequency, except for Mike, because Mike's sitting there being lazy. Mike's got an Apple Watch. I've got an iPad that we're rolling stories from. I've got an iPhone. So there's 2 more frequencies. You've got at
We've
least
got all
one.
our phones here. We've got the other radio electronics. We've got RF modulators, cameras.
And Tesla once said, life is frequency. Life is all about frequency. And now, look, whole new rabbit hole. I'm not even going to pretend that I know what this rabbit hole is about, but 5G is a whole nother thing. Because now there are 5G towers all over the country, and some people believe that those 5G towers carry nefarious things with them. But my question becomes, at what point do we stop putting electronics on our person?
Well, I think at what point do others stop? Because, look, is this something that I would purchase and put on and use? No. Do I think anyone in here would? Maybe Walker, maybe. Tug, probably, yeah. But I don't think any of us would be like, you know what? I need a Neuralink wristband to use a mouse. I'd rather just use a mouse. Like I had to buy a different keyboard because I wanted the clicks.
Yeah.
Right. So, but there are going to be individuals that always want to rush out for the next iPhone, the next Google phone, the next this, the next that. That whenever the newest technological advance and whatever it is, they're on a waiting list. And there are people that are going to continue to do that. I mean, that's why whenever Neuralink came out, there were people waiting to have a chip put in their brain to control via eye movement and everything else. And look, we need that to some degree because there's a medical application to it as
Correct.
well.
I was about to say the people who are on the waiting list for Neuralink are usually disabled in some way,
Correct.
shape, or form, and it can actually enhance their life.
But at the same breath, man is flawed. And we will use anything and everything. I mean, how long do you think it'll be to where, I mean, we already have to have a subscription to everything under the sun, right? BMW tried doing a subscription to air conditioning and heated seats. So it'll be, well, we'll say the Neuralink and you get it. Now it's only $19.99 for the rest of your life to be able to use that to where it activates with the HUD in your car and your computer and this and that. Well, if you want it to work here on your microwave too, you have to get this bridge, which is another $19.99 a month.
We already talked about subscriptions last
That's what
week.
I'm saying. This will all be part of it. And it just makes us further ingrained into this one massive cohesive unit of a think tank or whatever you want to call it.
I'm going to tell you what bothers me about this. I agree that we should probably take a step back from technology.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they won't let you. And when I say they won't let you, everybody says, oh, everybody's got a choice. No, here's what's going to happen. They're going to integrate something like this into a business application, which means that now they find an organization that has 25,000 employees. All those employees now have to use it for work. And all of a sudden you get 10, 15, 20, 100, 300 Fortune 500 companies that are all using this. And you start adding those numbers up. And now this technology, it is not chosen by the people. It's chosen by those who just want productive workers. And that's how they enforce it and make you adopt it. That's how they take you out of the moment. We actually had a story last week. We didn't get to run it, but this is really important. Please don't believe us on this. The story headline stated, it started as saying, you can now get more work-life balance by working at home because you can work smarter, not harder. But where did that go? Here's where it went. It went from companies going, oh, this is awesome. You can now work smarter, which means the job that used to take you 40 hours a week, you now can do in 20, which means we can give you 20 more hours worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's the great lie of technology. And it's this, it's that you can get more accomplished with your time. And it goes back to the monologue where I said, look, we need to spend time in the moment. Instead of getting our time back, because we now produce more in a shorter amount of time, now they lean in and go, no. You need to produce even more because you owe us this time, not this amount of work.
Well, and you still, you have to balance it with the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of the people do 80% of the work for any business. I mean, think about wherever you work, whatever business you own, 20% of the people that are there do 80% of the work. The other 80% are there to collect a paycheck. That's it. So when we add more time, that time isn't going to get productively used by the 80%. The 20% have to carry that much more workload as well. And we end up finding ourselves pigeonholed into a job, pigeonholed into a career, pigeonholed into this stressful life that we allow to exist.
You're being kind, because I don't know that it's pigeonholed.
Yeah.
It's have a heart trapped.
Take it a step further. I'm watching something on Netflix right now about psyops and surveillance, and they were talking about China. And they said, imagine 25 years ago if someone told you that you're going to be carrying around on a daily basis a beacon of every aspect of every minute of your day, of your life. And in China, what they do is they operate on a point system.
A social credit score.
A social credit score. And they evaluate how much freedom they will give you based on that credit score and based on your behavior on a daily basis. Are you productive? Do you have enough points to travel abroad? If you are someone who spends his time around unsavory and unscrupulous people, then they will disallow you to travel outside of the country.
It's insane where this can go, and it's why.
It is frightening. And look, and that's what they brought Snowden into it too. Okay, they brought Snowden into it, and what he tried to reveal was within this country the amount of intelligence gathering that they were doing on just us.
And what we are trying to reveal is that Walker is giving me the 1 minute finger and telling me we got to wrap for a second. We'll come back. If we need to continue this, we can. Hour 2 is always more fun. If your market, Vidalia, Natchez, only gets hour 1, find us on our socials. We'll be live at Mr. Lester's Steakhouse on September 10th. You can find us on Facebook, X, YouTube for that. Or come back for hour 2 on any podcast platform, because hour 2 is always more fun. We've got more weekly whiskey on Implicit Bias Radio. Hour 2 of Implicit Bias Radio, more whiskey, more fun. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. We are in the Mr. Lester's top secret podcast lair. And remember, go to Mr. Lester's, the only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston, located in beautiful Baldwin, Louisiana, at Cypress Bayou Casino. Ask for an Implicit Bias pour. Your first pour is $1 by asking for an Implicit Bias pour. By the way, we will be down at Mr. Lester's on September 10th. We will stream live. The episode will air on Saturday here in Lafayette, Louisiana. It will air in New Orleans, in Monroe. But if you want to catch it live, if you want to see what this bunch of morons looks like, and I'm speaking mainly just about myself, you can tune in and see us. If you want to see what the rest of the crew looks like and blind yourself for the rest of your life, you can do that as well. Facebook, X, YouTube, we will be live on all platforms. So let me introduce you to who's here in the crew in hour 2. We're going to start at the bar. Wearing the UL Ragin' Cajun hat, he is Mike Trammell. Mike, it has been fun to have you back with us this week, even though I kind of hate to admit that.
Yeah, our Cajuns aren't looking too hot the first week.
One game.
Yeah, one game.
One game.
What kind of like one show? It's kind of like have a slump here and there.
We'll talk football. Don't worry. We're actually going to talk a little bit of football. Final segment of this week's show, because this one will be fun. It's right up our alley. Grant Galatas of William S. Nacall Jewelers. Grant, you and I were together for the LSU Clemson game that night. I'll admit it, I'm not the most optimistic football fan when it comes to watching games get played.
It was very subdued. It was a very quiet, very restful evening. Watching you fly up. I've never seen anybody fly out of a recliner 10 or 15 times during one football game.
Well,
in objection to a lot of things that were going on. And hey, it turned out nice for us.
It did. I mean,
I enjoy the passion. Let's put it that way.
It's the conditioning. The moments in the past have conditioned us to react that way because, man, it seems like just those one little things go sideways.
Could not agree more. Sometimes it's hard to watch. There's always going to be questionable calls. There's always going to be stuff in real time that you see that they don't and all of that good stuff. But, hey, it turned out nice for us this weekend.
It ended up working out.
Much better than Bama.
Yeah.
Can you kind of show us what Kevon did?
Oh, no, we don't have enough
Whenever
room.
they called that touchdown back
We don't have enough
in
room.
the corner, just kind of give us show us what he did. I'm interested.
Yeah, I was hoping to let that one lie, but it was bad. I mean,
That probably wasn't my worst reaction. My worst reaction was probably the intentional grounding that just wasn't called.
Yeah. Look, I want to get Walker's opinion of that. The one-handed stab in the end zone, caught at the 1 yard line, and
I told y'all we're going to talk
touchdown.
football later, and now they're trying to take
Well,
over.
yeah, but
Okay,
you
sorry.
kept talking about it.
Yeah.
You drug it out.
Walker.
I rewatched the game because I was at the UL game, sadly. But it looked like he caught it, but the replay, I think it was just too hard to overturn because the ball hit the ground. It didn't really move.
But it was called a touchdown initially.
I thought it was called incomplete.
No, it was called
Touchdown.
complete initially.
I can't believe they overturned it.
So it was called
No, it was on the
complete.
one.
It was called, and that's the dumb part, right? The dumb part is it was called a completion out of bounds at the 1. The receiver was nowhere near being out of bounds at the 1. He clearly, his last step in bounds was inside the end zone.
And he hit the pylon.
And his other knee hit the pylon on his way out of bounds. So he caught the ball, had possession, took 2 steps, then goes out of bounds, gets pushed down, and all of a sudden that's not a catch. I just think the NCAA needs to review what is and what isn't a catch again, because it's completely dumb to me that I can catch a football, go 2 steps, be on my way to the ground, and it's an incomplete pass. I can be handed the football, be tripping on my way into the end zone. As soon as the ball breaks the plane, because I'm tripping, I'm going to the ground, same thing as catching it. But as I'm falling, I break the plane. That's a touchdown unequivocally. The catch is not. We'll talk about stuff like that in a minute.
Brandon,
Caleb,
did you watch the game? All right, so you and I are in the same boat. We had better things to do.
This segment is shot.
no, it's not, because we're gonna go.
He's all mad.
we are going
about
to
get up like he was at that touchdown.
we are gonna go to what maybe is my
Piece de
favorite
resistance.
story that I have seen in the last year. And it is not the greatest political scandal. It's not, everybody knowing that Joe was physically present but wasn't there in the moment. That's not what I'm talking about. This is something that came out today. Please go look this one up. I don't know if it's going to stick because I think it might need to be law. But this to me is potentially beautiful. The President of the United States just authorized FCC fines of up to $100 million for media outlets caught spreading lies. Accountability for propaganda media in the United States. This I would love. Now, somebody's probably going to say, you guys lie all the time. No, we cite our stories. We tell you where they came from. We tell you where we got them. And we say, please don't believe us. Go look this up. Being wrong on a story is different than spreading lies. Anybody have an idea of maybe how we could differentiate between just being wrong and spreading a lie?
Well, I mean, prior knowledge about it.
Prior knowledge. So somebody sees something and says something different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Deceitfulness or the purpose of influencing maybe political action, elections, number of other things.
I'm curious to see who would be responsible, what kind of commission you would appoint to be the final judge on what is considered fact and fiction.
Well,
I mean, how do you? I mean, it's so funny because from
Would it be
either
a court?
from either side of the aisle, you take one story and you divide it off to the legacy media and the only existing media at Fox News, and they have their own take, their own interpretation of the same.
They've got their
quote
own
unquote facts.
They've got their own sources.
So who makes the determination on what is and what is not fact or truth?
I agree with you here. This is where it gets sticky.
Right.
And where I don't know if you can ever really say, well, that story necessarily is or isn't true because they have a source. They have someone else telling them this. That's one thing. How about deceptively editing an interview to make someone answer a question they were not asked?
I see where you're going with it.
CBS got caught again. Please don't believe me.
It was 60 Minutes, wasn't it?
Again. Because it was 60 Minutes the first time. So for those who don't know the story, please go look this up. CBS released the raw footage the first time it happened. They got caught a second time.
With the Kamala interviews?
The first one was the Kamala the Ugandan giant interviews.
What was this one?
This one was another political figure. I don't have the name. I don't want to cite it.
Imagine
that.
If it works once, let's do it twice.
But follow me here. You really want to prove that a media outlet is spreading lies? Get the raw footage. They have to submit it. If the answer to the question that person was asked is not the answer that airs, if they deceptively edit it to put in a different answer, that's not just, oh, we can tell. That's what they call, we've got them dead to rights. Because at the end of the day, who owns the air that CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, that they all broadcast on now? CNN's just in
Well, what does the F on the FCC stand for?
Federal Communications Commission. They're licensed. In other words, we own the air. Or we should.
I mean,
Anyway.
if you can find me for cussing on a CB, I mean...
Which technically is a thing.
Yes, yes, it is.
But I would think this would be, I know what you're saying, editing, but with the world of AI ever growing, I would think that would be more.
There was a $6 million fine for robocalls during the Biden's last campaign, I believe, because it was all AI generated. And they were trying to go through that route, and $6 million was the highest fine they could give, which was less than they paid for the robocalls.
So I love that you brought up AI here, because AI, man, that's a big one. And here's why. AI may have just been busted again. In the last 3 days, there was alleged video of someone throwing something out of a second-story window in the White House. Anybody see that? I mean, Grant, you're nodding your head over there.
Yeah, Peter Ducey, while they were in the Oval Office and he was taking questions, Trump went into a 2 or 3 minute deal about the windows weigh 600 pounds in the White House because they're bulletproof, they're tempered.
Yep.
I didn't read the conclusion of it. Was there actually someone who had a window open? Because Trump said Melania has fussed at me many times about not being able to open up a window and get a draft through here, get some fresh air in here. So I never heard if there was actually someone throwing something out of the east side of the.
Well, Trump
the White
even
House.
said the windows are not designed to be opened anymore.
Right. Yeah. They're bulletproof and
Correct.
rocket proof and whatever.
Correct.
So what happened with that?
Well, he actually said, I'm pretty sure this is AI. Nobody ran it through the filter. AI is the only thing that makes sense unless somehow someone miraculously, without anybody noticing, replaced a window in the White House with a Home Depot special or a Lowe's special, put that in, one of the most secure residences on the planet without anybody figuring that out. I mean, then again, maybe they left a bag of cocaine there too. I don't know. And nobody would figure that out either. But the whole point is the only thing that makes sense is AI. And really, to me, the big reason, Mike, and I'm glad you brought this up, the big reason is not just selective editing. It's going to be, is the news going to stop telling you the news? Or are they going to start manufacturing the news?
You mean propaganda?
Well, it's legal in the United States now. It used to not be legal on U.S. soil for a U.S. entity to propagandize the U.S. public. That was changed some years ago. So, by the way, the story, CBS News once again edits an interview, this one with Homeland Security Advisor Kristi Noem, removing a section in which she explained why the Trump administration wants to remove the so-called Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Imagine that. Selectively editing yet again. You want to live in the moment. I mean, we have to, but we're getting to the point where we almost have to look at all the news media we get and go, okay, we got to give it 24 to 48 hours.
Well, and you have to know going into these things that there's going to be their own spin. They have their own orientation, where we have our own orientation. Whenever CBS did their special on us on the Army Project and everything else, when I watched it, afterwards I was like, well, that was close to the way I said things. But close to is not exact. And when you look at something like this, that's 100% inaccurate because they want to spin their message, not give the message.
But how would you have the original footage? Like if you were on the program, how would you go back and prove?
Well, you have to account for it all the time. So when they record it, you have to account. If you record for 47 minutes and you only show 21 minutes, you have to be able to provide to the FCC the 47 minutes of uncut, unedited footage.
Okay, so they do have to
Yeah.
provide. Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
Yep.
You have to account for that at all times. If you lose it, then you risk having your license pulled and everything else.
Okay.
Which, instead of going after fines, to me, might just be the right way to go. Do we now get some competition in the news media and good old CBS no longer gets to have their license and somebody else does?
Man, how awesome would it be if there was like a federal grant for like a veteran news, like when I say veteran, like a U.S. military veteran news run agency? That would be great.
They should let us run it.
And I love how you tied this in. I love how you tied it in earlier to the CDC because it used to be an institution where when they put it out, it was like gold. You could trust because you knew where they were coming from. And with the media, and I hate to say this, but it ties into what you always say, Kavan, is that we always criticize the other side of the aisle. But actually, I don't know if y'all know. I know you know this, but the fairness doctrine.
Yep.
Under Ronald Reagan, they call Ronald Reagan the originator of
Yes.
fake news.
Yep.
Trump's favorite phrase, because at some point Ronald Reagan said, look, it used to be in media that you would present a story, but you had to give almost equal time to
the other side of the story.
To the other
Yep.
side of the story. And when that disappeared, Walter Cronkite started doing barrel rolls in his grave because the modern media just lost it at that point. And it's gotten so far to either side that you can't trust anybody. Like you said, you got to give 24 hours to a story before you actually get anything you can consider credible.
I told people this all the time. And big media organizations have realized this. This is what we do. We are not broadcasters. We are specific casters. We do our show for people who want to hear the other side of the mainstream media. You want to hear what they're not telling you about? That's who we do this show for. If you don't want to hear it and you think we're whatever, we're specific casting. But if you think they're not specific casting to their viewers and listeners as well? They absolutely are. And that means they're going to give them what sells. They're going to give them what brings in revenue. They're going to give them, that whatever it is that's going to keep them in the matrix, that keeps them watching and listening and in a panic and fight or flight mode, which usually is flight mode from that side.
But break it down like this. We're in a situation like now where 100% media saturation coverage of what's going on with Trump calling in the National Guard to Washington, D.C. There's no murders going on there right now. You would think if you break that down and you boil it down and take all the chaff off the bone, hey, that's a good thing. There's not a lot of murders going on in Washington, D.C., which is the nation's capital, should be a place where you can walk around and view the nation's history. So what you have is a president who wants to go into Chicago and say, hey, you need a little help with your crime? Would you like for us to prevent people from getting killed this week? No, just because it's Trump. And Trump said it in the Oval Office, too. He said, we've been talking to Governor Jeff Landry.
Yep.
See if he wants us to go into New Orleans and in Baton Rouge to see if we can help there. I'm sorry, Mr. President. You want to come in here and help us reduce killings? Yes, sir.
I understand
Thank
the
you very
fear.
much. But in Chicago and all these other cities, it's just because it's a blue run city that they're saying, you want to help us reduce crime and killings? No, thank you.
Is it a good thing
Conceptually,
that,
think about that.
Yeah.
is it a good thing that crime is going down? Yes. Is it a good thing that it's taken us getting the National Guard involved? No. And mayors and governors should work together and get their cities taken care of and get it handled on a state level first and foremost, because when we start doing that, we're on the verge of declaring martial law. And I am never a fan of any form of martial law on U.S. soil, because that's not what we're trained for. That's not what we're done, and a good soldier would never do that.
A good soldier also wouldn't stick a finger out in the middle of the broadcast and tell us that we've got to go to a break. But we do here in hour 2 of Implicit Bias Radio. We've got more whiskey. We've got more stories that you're not going to get in most places. It's all for your implicit bias. Cheers. We'll be right back. Oh, not everybody's meant for Implicit Bias Radio, and Implicit Bias Radio isn't meant for everybody. If we're meant for you and you're meant for us, cheers as we dive into solving the problems of the world one weekly whiskey at a time. Hour 2 rolls on, always more fun. And this story, I hope this isn't you. If it is, well, maybe a good, long, hard look in the mirror is warranted. So let me tell you the story we're about to get into. But before that, I'm going to introduce you to the crew here in the Mr. Lester's TSPL. It's a story we're about to get into, Caleb.
It was just, the intro was good. It was good. That's all I'm saying.
Kitchen tables?
Oh, dear Lord. That is Mike Trammell from Luxury Limo. Not Luxury Limo, dear Lord. Now you see, y'all got me all off. Yeah.
We got you all flustered.
He's
Flustered.
He's from Box Drop Lafayette, Clear Springs Water. Mike Trammell.
I bought one of those mattresses too.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about this, Caleb. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. I don't care.
I can get kitchen tables.
There you go.
This is why we're not going to let them talk anymore. Me and Grant Galatas of William S. Nagall Jewelers are going to do the rest of the show, because we're going to do the show for at least a 4th grade level.
Squeak.
All right. Mike, do you like celebrities?
I love you.
There we go.
You're the most famous person I know.
People who are obsessed with celebrities may be less intelligent, study suggests. That is according to The Independent online. The-independent.com. Yes, people who are obsessed with celebrities may be less intelligent, study suggests.
What was that magazine that you used to see at like all the grocery stores? Was it the Inquirer or something? Was that
well, there was the National Enquirer.
I never picked one up, but I always imagine like that's what the typical, when you see people at Walmart.com, like that's what I imagine they read.
Well, I'm on peopleatwalmart.com. I mean, we shop at Walmart. Sorry.
No.
You don't shop at Walmart at all?
I tried not to.
I agree.
I try not.
We try not to, but I mean,
that's what I imagine. The people that are obsessed with celebrities, like when they're like, "Did you see what Kim Kardashian's doing?" I'm like, "No."
You do that way too well.
That's
that's what happens when you get
Target. That's not Walmart.
When you get more than 3 years of service, you can speak with that list. But I mean, that's what I imagine. Like, I mean, I don't care what the Kardashians are doing. I don't care what I don't know, other people that get paid to do that stuff.
You know what the big story is? The big story from a couple weeks ago. Stupid people breaking out crying, college professors saying, "Oh, I just can't handle this," and
it's horse face and can't play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Horse face and can't play.
Anybody know who horse face and can't play is?
Yeah, that would be Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, apparently that whole relationship is setting us up for another season of football where we don't get to watch football.
Look, the Chiefs have been the most profitable.
Hey, time out.
Did you see
We're
that?
talking about football in the last segment. We got to get back to the cognitive scores and the people who actually follow the celebrity stuff.
Well, that's what we're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about.
they've
right.
been the
The
most
two- you
profitable
put
the
the two
last
in
year.
together.
Congratulations, you're able to
forever,
figure it
right?
out.
No.
They already ruined a college football game. The Cincinnati-Nebraska game, it was in Kansas City Stadium, and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were there.
Wow.
Were they
was awful.
were they the only two?
Patrick Mahomes and his wife were there.
That's 4. I still don't know who those people are.
Okay, so
I should.
let me give you the details behind this. According to theindependent.com, a Hungarian study published in BMC Psychology found, quote, a direct association between celebrity worship and poorer performance on cognitive tests.
Well, like,
Was this really a giant leap, though?
Ring the
Seriously.
bell.
Yeah,
no,
no,
this-
seriously.
it's confirmation is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, do you
basically.
think that these people do anything different? Do you think that if you go gaga over their Fruit Loops, do you think that they really care? They don't give a damn about you. They don't. Look at how we know that. Some of them have run off whenever Trump was elected. Some of them ran off to Scotland and other places. Whenever other people cry about other things on their social media and so forth, they don't really care about you, their listener. They care that you pay. They care that you like and you follow. But they don't care about you as a person.
You mean the celebrities don't care about the people who are...
No, yeah, celebrities don't really care about you as an individual.
Oh, they care about your clicks.
Yeah, they care about your click. Very few actually did. Like, look at someone who struggled. Look at Robin Williams. Robin Williams, after Patch Adams, went into all these different children's hospitals and continued to play the part and do more for them, right? And there were other celebrities. Look at Gary Sinise. After he played
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan, did a bunch for veterans and put his everything on the line and continues to do more. There are people that are good in these positions. There are. But for the most part, 90% of these people, they don't give a damn about you. And you shouldn't give a damn about them. They're the dancing monkey meant to entertain you. You shouldn't care if they wipe their butt left-handed or they wear the newest tutu.
Very good point. But what this article did, from a psychological perspective, it was just kind of sad. I mean, people have to live vicariously through the people that they see portrayed in the media every day. So it really kind of speaks to, if they have a very boring, very unsatisfying, mundane life, then unfortunately they have to live through these people, and they follow these people, and every high for these people is a high for them, and every low for these people is just the same.
Well,
so
that's-
from a psychological perspective, it's almost kind of sad that their life is so unfulfilling that they have to live through these people.
Well, what about the realization that shows us that so many people don't truly love themselves and don't understand what a blessing it is from God to have another day 6 foot up, right? Life is meant to be difficult. I know that because recently my life has been pretty difficult. And when you look at it in the Bible, whenever people were operating in God's will, whenever we were told to go to the promised land, who was in the promised land? Giants.
Oh, we got to edit that.
Sorry. Yeah. So
Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
It's been a while, but it's okay.
So giants. And what do we have to do to the giants to get the promised land? Slay them. You think that was easy? No. And that's what you have to do in your own life. You have to slay your giants. You have to find your own self-worth and not find it in these other people. Because if you find it in Tay-Tay and Travis Kelce, you'll never find happiness. You think they'll find happiness in their marriage? You think their marriage is going to be what the marriages that we have here?
We never know.
So here's...
Hey,
I'm going to bring this back.
Look, these could be two kids that
They
you
might
never
be
know.
happy.
You know exactly.
No,
Here's
this is
the
a
deal.
PR
Chance that they could
stunt.
be.
This is a
Here's the
PR
deal.
stunt.
Here's the deal.
No, Caleb, that's a good point too. This
In-
could be a PR stunt
it
because they were
absolutely
talking
could
about
be.
the Super Bowl.
It
and
increased
somebody
their
asked-
net worth is
Somebody
all it
asked
did.
Goodell today, is it out of the realm of possibility that Taylor Swift could be performing at this year's Super Bowl?
Follow me here.
And they all benefit from this.
Follow me here. It could be a publicity stunt. But number one, they could be happy. It could be manufactured.
You never know.
It doesn't matter. What their life does and where they are should not matter to us at all. Right? Why? Because we should be living in the moment of our lives. That's the big takeaway here. Instead of trying to live in the moment of their lives, live in the moment of your life.
Find your happiness.
The research, and this is back to the article, was conducted using a survey of 1,763 adults who completed a series of tasks, including a 30-word vocabulary test and a digital symbol substitution test. They also completed a celebrity attitude scale, questionnaire, which was created in order to establish how interested they were in famous people. The questionnaire required people to answer simply yes or no to a series of statements. The researchers concluded that those who scored highest on the celebrity attitude scale had lower performance on the 2 cognitive ability tests. This is where this brings me. Up until basically 2024, celebrities were utilized in what way? How have celebrities been utilized in order to really bend what Americans think, say, do, and act?
Advertising?
It was endorsements.
Advertising, endorsements, specifically of whom?
Uh-oh.
Political figures. Remember, the Harris campaign spent $2 billion. You think that politicians don't know this already? You think that politicians didn't sit back and go, these people maybe aren't that bright. So we don't need to actually give them policy. We don't need to give them what's right versus what's wrong. We just need to give them celebrities so that we can literally create, and I hate to say this, low IQ voters, because that is what this article connects.
It was Beyonce they tried to use.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
exactly. That's what I was going to say. They took a hell of a shot because I tell you what, it didn't work.
Well,
like
I
you said,
thought
they spent $2
They
billion.
did, but I
and
thought
Beyonce, they rolled everybody out.
Megan the Stallion was used. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, there were more.
yeah.
Beyonce was
Absolutely.
just the biggest one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There were
they
many,
went across
many
the
more.
cultures. They went across all of it. They went across the spectrum, and it fell on its face.
Now, what's really interesting is in 2024, Walker, we might go a little long here. In 2024, you had the other side start to use some celebrities as well. But what celebrities did they use? They didn't use celebrities who have these cult followings like Tay-Tay and Beyonce.
Mike Rowe.
They used Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
who is no longer with us. Kid Rock. And while Kid Rock has fans, you don't see people going, oh my goodness, Kid Rock urinated on a tree. I've got to have a piece of bark off of that tree. Whereas if Taylor Swift did that, you'd have 1 million people fighting for that. That's how crazy this is.
They used down-home good people. Sylvester Stallone, Joe Rogan, everybody who's just middle America. And that's what won the election for him, actually.
And what's going to win it for us is that we got to take a break. We're going to come back next segment of Implicit Bias Radio right after this. Segment of this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. Penultimate means the second to last segment of this week's episode. Great crew here in the Mr. Lester's Top Secret Podcast Lair. By the way, if you're just tuning in, go to Mr. Lester's Steakhouse at Cypress Bayou Casino, Baldwin, Louisiana, the only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston, and ask them for an Implicit Bias pour of whiskey. That means your first pour is $1, Bob.
$1.
$1.
Look,
Yes,
even-
even Trammell saved $1 from the first row in that
Yep.
club, and you know what club I'm talking about, so he could get a pour of whiskey.
I got it from Grant. It kind of smells fishy.
All right, so we're talking about living in the moment. I actually mentioned in the monologue, sometimes we do have to go back and look at the past. And we're going to talk about the past. We're going to actually talk about 2015, 2016 here, because this is important. One of the things that has been constantly raging for the last several years is the war in Ukraine. And nobody wants this to continue. But the big question that I always had,
No one here wants it to continue.
no,
Someone wants it to continue, but no one here does.
it's a great call out. Somebody does want it to continue, which means we have to start asking why. Why on earth would we want it to continue? And then we come across a reporter that we actually respect deeply on this show. John Solomon is a guy who has been right year after year after year after year after year when everybody else was wrong. John Solomon has been on it, and when he reports, hey, this is what we have, he cites his sources, he says who he talked to, he tells you where it came from. He's not going to be looking at a fine up to $100 million from the FCC for continuing to spread lies. Why? Because he can back up what he says with evidence. Well, man, some of the stuff he said in the last couple of weeks, it's just flat out. It's scary. Everybody remember that Saturday Night Live? They used to do the goth kids. It's scary. No, it's not scary like that. You remember that one,
I do
Caleb,
remember
right?
that. I do
yeah,
remember that.
Chris Kattan doing Ariel. of
Yes,
this.
yes.
Yeah. This is scary like that. So what is John Solomon reporting? John Solomon is reporting that leading up to the 2016 election, and this is a direct quote. Please don't believe me. Go look this up. It's out there. He says it. We are simply reporting what he has reported. That the, quote, Democrat National Committee went to the Ukrainian embassy in D.C. and spoke to the ambassador and asked the country of Ukraine to try to dig up dirt on one of the Republican candidate's associates and to make an issue out of it globally to affect the campaign. I've got a term that I would use for that. It's 2 words. Grant, do you have a word that you would use for that? Or 2 words that you would use for that? A term?
Are we in bonus material right now?
No, we are not in bonus
Okay,
material
I'm sorry.
right now.
Then I can't speak on this. Yeah, it's so funny the timing of this because 2016 is indelibly known as the Russia collusion election. So I guess it's just a red herring. You throw that out there, the Russia collusion, so you can slide this one past the batter. I mean, basically throw a strike with this one, thinking that you can say there was collusion with Manafort, Paul Manafort.
Paul
I
Manafort
believe.
was the person that
Yeah,
they
I believe his
that the
name.
Democratic National Committee asked the country of Ukraine to dig up dirt on.
So Hillary and her whole campaign staff were saying Russia collusion, just so you wouldn't look that she was trying to get the Ukrainian officials to say that
That she was colluding with Ukraine.
Because
Correct.
it's the empty can rattles the most, and normally
Yeah,
what people are
basically.
accusing others of is what they're guilty of.
That's correct.
It's
And-
called
and-
projection.
Yeah.
So-
So the other side of the aisle is guilty of that so bad. They wave this hand and scream on this, and there's something else going on that they're trying to cover up for. And this is a perfect example of that.
Well, and now that we're hearing about it, right? And they say they have what audio tape or videotape proof.
They say that there is a prosecutor in Ukraine who says that he has enough evidence to open up a corruption investigation into election interference in the United States in 2016, and he has it on audio tape.
And you
Yes.
say prosecutor,
on tape.
would that be their version of the attorney general, right?
Yes.
So their highest legal authority. And if that's the case, do we think this is the only country? Do you think they tried this once, or do you think that this is the only one that said we regret our decision?
Well, I've got an answer that might surprise you. So the Democrats are screaming Russia collusion, Russia collusion, Russia collusion. And at the time, there just happened to be a hack of a computer in D.C. that happened to be in the Democratic National Committee office. So while they're screaming Russia
That was
collusion,
internal.
well, it was they said it was a hack.
We believe it's internal.
We believe it's internal. But here's the really interesting part for me. The FBI did not do the actual forensic investigation on that server. Do you know the name of the company that was used to do that investigation? Anybody? If you wanted to get a big group of people together, what would you call that?
A think tank or a conglomerate?
No, just a
or
big group of people. What's a term for
crowd?
a crowd? And if that big group of people decided not to work that day, and they wanted to stay away from work and wouldn't let anybody cross their picket lines, what do we call that?
Protest? No?
No, if it's workers, we call it a strike.
Oh, strike.
CrowdStrike was the company that actually did the analysis of that server. Anybody want to take a guess where the server was sent so CrowdStrike could do that analysis?
Really?
Please don't believe me on this.
Really?
Please don't believe
Well,
me
that's
on
just
this.
so blatant.
CrowdStrike is based out of Ukraine. So when you ask, is it the only country? I go, the question that I've always had is this. Why does that country keep coming up? Why did we have U.S. officials testify, yeah, we have biological labs sitting in that country? Why, when we start talking about money laundering and foreign aid, does that country keep coming up? Why, when people start asking about investigations into servers that maybe should have been done in the U.S., does that country keep coming up?
You ever bought a new tool and then you want to use that tool every chance you get? That way, you kind of regret the purchase, but you want to amortize it the best you can.
You want to make sure you get your money out of it.
Are you trying to tie this into Biden and the Burisma and all of the connections with Biden in Ukraine?
Again, why does this country keep coming up? Therein lies all the big questions. Why? Allegedly, and I don't want to say allegedly, but seemingly unprovoked, would another country go to war with that country for no reason? I'm still trying to figure all this out. Or maybe, just maybe, there's a reason that we don't know about. Maybe, just maybe, they're the Cayman Islands of corruption now. So for those who don't remember what the Cayman Islands were used for, the Cayman Islands were the Western Hemisphere's version of Swiss banking. You could fly down to the Cayman Islands, open up a bank account. You never had to put your name on it. You never had to put anything on it that could ever identify it was you. And if you had, say, pulled a Bernie Madoff and embezzled hundreds of millions of dollars from a bunch of people, and you flew down there and you opened up an account and put it down there, that money was lost to anyone in the U.S. government or in the U.S. other than you forever, unless you took it out. Now, I'm wondering if there's a European version of that country, and it's not Switzerland anymore. I'm wondering if it's a country that was asked to help interfere with an election interference, potentially in 2016. We'll let you sort that out. Please don't believe us on this one. And we're going to, yes, Grant, make you happy. We're going to talk about the foosball in the final segment of this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio. Final segment of this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. The chickens are coming home to roost, Bobby Boucher. It's time to talk to foosball on Implicit Bias Radio, because yes, football season, by the time this show airs on terrestrial radio, hits podcast, yes, we'll be fully underway. High school, college, pro, it's all there. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I want to ask the question. There's just something comforting about football season. Even if it's two teams that I just really don't care about, sometimes as in our house as a family, just having football on in the background is just better.
You know, we used to really enjoy football season, and then we gave up on it whenever it got woke. And then now, to me, it's just hunting time. You know, like I use it as a time to unplug, not watch the TV, not listen to the world, and just enjoy life.
I get that.
And look, I enjoyed football. My wife and I would watch it together. We would do homemade nachos, which were amazing.
We don't want to know what else you would do.
Yeah. And
Kitchen table.
that's right. And we would sit down and watch football as a family and really enjoy it.
As a family.
As a family.
I'm just glad that's not a euphemism. Making nachos. I'd never think of it the same way again.
That was legit nachos. You know, so we enjoyed it. We really did, because it was something that we could enjoy as a family unit together that was wholesome, or what we thought was wholesome.
I still like watching college. I've stepped away from the pro game. I'll tell you, I stepped away from the pro game. Grant, what year was it? The no call against the Rams?
Oh, yeah.
What year?
1997.
I don't even remember which year it was, but that was the most egregious,
Okay. And I'll tell you why I walked away from it.
blatant example of the NFL being corrupt.
The NFL has said we want to put instant replay in so we can get calls right. They didn't care about that call. You know why? Because they didn't want that call to be right.
Well, we were playing Los Angeles, and that was the year their stadium opened up.
It was the year before their stadium opened up.
Okay, so they wanted to draw a lot of attention.
They wanted a lot of attention so they could fill the stadium the next season. Yep. And that's the theory anyway. But at that point was when it solidified for me. And I'm not going to say that NFL games are scripted, because you can't script some of the things that these guys do. These guys are ridiculous athletes.
But there is an agenda.
And J.D. Vance leaned in. Our vice president of the United States warns, according to Fox News, warns NFL referees against Chiefs favoritism after Tay and No Play got engaged. Go ahead, Trammell.
Well, I mean, they say Kansas City's most popular fan is the referee, right?
Well, and let's the numbers in this instance don't lie. Sean Payton, years ago, and this was after the no call, Sean Payton did the data analysis. He went back and looked at the most penalized teams in the NFL. And do you know who he found was the the least penalized team in the NFL from like 2009 through 2016, 17, right before the no call?
The Patriots?
The least penalized team in the NFL was not the Patriots. It was not the Chiefs. It was whoever played the New Orleans Saints. And that is serious. That is dead serious.
Holy
like
crap.
he ran the numbers. Teams that averaged like 15 penalties a game would get 6 when they played the Saints. Teams that averaged like 12 would get 4 when they played the Saints.
Well, hold on.
minute
Wasn't that the height of Bounty?
It was Bountygate. It was the Vicodin scandal. There was all kinds of stuff around
Always
it.
something.
There was always
Look,
something.
that's what football should be. Extra $100, I'll take your drawers off.
That was the most ridiculous. And he got suspended for a whole season. Like,
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine that happening? I mean, the Patriots got caught cheating. Like,
Deflategate.
Deflategate. And the funny part was the Saints allegedly were trying to take players out. And were the
Who's
least
not?
and well, hold on. They were the least penalized team with regards to personal fouls, late hits, and unnecessary roughness in the league during that season. Again, the numbers didn't pan out.
But New Orleans is one of the smaller media markets.
Oh, what does that mean?
Less viewers, less money,
Ah.
less marketing, less advertising.
As our good buddy at Coin and Treasure, Louis Pizzolatto, would say, the numismatist, follow the money. And I don't know that I get it quite as raspy as he does, and I'm not going to shave
You
my
did
head
a
to
good
do
job,
it.
yeah.
But what I love about this is that the vice president of the United States is maybe acknowledging you guys in the zebra stripes have been doing work, and it's shown favoritism.
This is the vice president saying this.
This is the vice president who warns them, right?
Well, I mean, give them bread and circuses, right? So what is it if not to entertain? We want it to be fair, which I hate that word. We want it to be even and level. The truth of the matter is far from it.
Well, the truth of the matter is the NFL in court is not designated as a sports league. They are designated as sports entertainment. They actually argued this in New Jersey in a class action lawsuit to say we can do whatever we want. And they won.
Wrestling?
Oh, so wait, who else is sports entertainment, Trammell?
Wrestling? WWE?
I was about to say, not like Roman Greco wrestling, like Olympic wrestling.
Monday Night Raw.
Correct.
SmackDown.
Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, professional wrestling is sports entertainment. Which means, because look, you want to talk about guys that are absolutely some of the best athletes on the planet? You got to think about some of the falls these guys
Acrobatics, the
take
falls, everything else.
and keep going. They are really incredible athletes because not only are they athletes, they are acting at the same time. But at the end of the day, the winner is decided before they hit the ring. So if the WWE can do it, and ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, whatever it stands for, if they can do it because they're sports entertainment, you mean to tell me that the NFL can't?
I didn't realize that they were classified as sports entertainment.
Please don't believe me on this. Go look it up.
That makes a ton more sense now.
But then you got to tie in all the sports betting too. That is such a huge. Think about that side of it too. Not just the marketing and viewership. The betting is who's tied in with that.
We have talked about on this show. Anybody remember the name Phil Donahue? Maybe his first name wasn't Phil. Last name Donahue.
I think it was Phil.
Phil Donahue. He used to do a show. Back in
Not
the
that
day.
one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nope, not that one.
Donahue.
This guy was an NBA official.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
What did he get busted for, Trammell?
He was fixing games, making calls. Yep.
As an official.
Right.
Anybody know what led to kind of his full-on downfall? Because he got busted. And then what did he offer to do? Anybody remember?
Man, I don't remember this, but I do know.
He offered to spill the beans on everybody else who was doing it. And what happened? The NBA said, no, we're making this go away.
Catch one.
Yes. Right?
So someone has to be the scapegoat.
They knew, personal opinion, for entertainment purposes only, that he wasn't the only one, not just fixing games, but gambling on games. And that was when you had to go to a casino or somewhere or a bookie to do it. Today,
It's right there on your phone.
You can place a bet right now.
Kevin
Right
Hart will
here,
sit
right
there
now.
and tell you to download the app right now.
Walker just placed like 9 bets in the last 30 seconds while he was giving me the 1 minute finger.
I thought it was so cool. Whenever he's on your screen and does it, you have to zoom in to see him.
Here's what I'm going to say. Make up your own mind as to whether this is fixed or not, but there's a lot of smoke here, which means something's on fire. What is on fire is the last seconds of this show. We're going to wrap it up. We will be live at Mr. Lester's September 10th, 6 p.m. You can catch the show later. You never know if we're giving something away, just having a tremendous time solving the problems of the world, drinking several weekly whiskeys. We will see you in 7. Cheers.